Welcome to Gone Phishing, a show diving into the cybersecurity threats that surround our highly connected lives. Every human is different. Every person has unique vulnerabilities that expose them to potentially successful social engineering. On this show, we'll discuss human vulnerability and how it relates to unique individuals. I'm Connor Swalm, CEO of Phin Security, and welcome to Gone Phishing. Hey everyone, we'd like to welcome aboard Kyle Spooner to another episode of Gone Phishing. I'm your host, Connor. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Great.
You are doing great. That's amazing. So last time we had you on, we discussed, I want to say everything MSP, but I'm pretty sure that's a company somewhere. But we talked about MSPs. What is an MSP? If you want to give a highlight of what you talked about last time.
An MSP is basically, it's a company that offers services that they manage. That's at the core of it.
That is. Yeah, I asked for a top level definition. I got a top level definition. It is somebody who does IT infrastructure, other services for businesses.
Anything and everything that they're asked of, pretty much. Sometimes to the detriment.
And for those of you who may have not caught the last episode, Kyle works at an MSP and Phin serves MSPs. So we have been, well, Kyle's been around for a little bit longer than I have in the industry, but we are both neck deep in the industry. I'll say neck deep in the industry.
Yeah, accurate.
So on the last episode, we were talking about MSPs, and the people who provide the services, or a large portion of them, are MSP technicians. Can you explain an MSP technician?
Generally speaking, an MSP technician is someone who is able to take a problem ticket and resolve that problem ticket. However, being in IT, not all problem tickets are the same. And a lot of times companies will group the tickets into individuals who can solve them the most efficient. Password reset stuff that can be going to lower end technicians who it doesn't require someone who's very expensive to the managed service provider. They don't need to be doing password resets. It's just not a good use of their time and talent. But there's it breaks down into individual, like there's project engineers who can do technical work. There's security engineers. There's even getting into the point of data center, cloud security, cloud engineers. Specializations with Microsoft also exist in the MSP space.
There's a bunch of specializations. Mm-hmm. Sounds like there's stratification of sorts, almost like I'm trying to hint at levels here. I've heard of level 1, 2, and 3 techs. Is there anything other than level 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, I've heard them all going up to level 5 before. And generally, most of the time, it's level 3, and then you go into a specialization, either with a specific category of products, like I'm Azure, like I work with Azure all the time. Active Directory issues, that's me, right? Or I'm a project engineer. I do projects. I do high-level mass projects for clients. That's me, right? That's whatever that can be. But generally, there's level 1, level 2, and level 3, and sometimes there's a low level 0 can exist as well. Those who are interning or training.
That implies the existence of a level infinity MSP technician, the final boss.
He's still probably doing password resets.
Unfortunately. Yeah. What's the biggest difference between the certain levels? So I'm assuming it's at least a little bit more education, maybe a little bit more time on the job, but what else?
This question is a difficult question to answer because there is no right answer. There's no certificate you get that says I'm a level 1 technician, I'm a level 2 technician, or I'm a level 2.5 technician, right? But generally, as the scale goes up, the ability to solve problems and their ability to think critically and understand what they're doing is how I see them going up. A level 1 technician is very new, and someone who can do password resets and who understands the basics of the systems and how to get around and is able to at least start to beginning to think about what they're doing. Like if they're doing a password reset, is the person on the phone that I'm on the phone with actually the person, I need to reset their password. Right? There's that type of stuff is starting to form. Level 2 has that understanding already, and can solve more critical issue or more complicated issues, where it's not necessarily I need to turn my printer off and on again, or reboot the machine, even though they're probably going to do that as a first step anyway, because it's just smart. But they're going to be able to actually diagnose and troubleshoot issues. And then level 3 would be able to solve issues level 2 can't or level 1 can't. And they go into deeply complex problems that require generally multiple hour resolutions to troubleshoot, figure out what the actual issue is, and fix it.
It sounds like as the complexity of the issue goes up, the level of technician you need should go up with it. I don't think that should be a surprise to much folks.
The problem is determining where the cutoff is. And no one has a specific determination of that. And it's always a personal feeling. I can guarantee 2 MSPs will not have, the odds are low, that they will have the exact same feeling on a specific engineer for tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. We put in, we have a specific questionnaire we give out that people answer that will allow us to determine pretty close accuracy where someone is on the technical skill level scale.
Does that include like actual, like a technical analysis? You give them a job and they have to perform it, or is it just like, are you comfortable doing these things? Who are you? What gives you the right? No, I'm kidding.
I didn't develop this. I want to be ultimately clear. I'm not that intelligent. Mindy Green, who I'm sure you know.
I know Mindy.
He developed this. It's 4 questions. I'd have to look him up again. But like one of them's like, can you tell me the difference between NTFS file system and a share permission? Do you know what? It's a networking question about.
I only know FAT32.
Yeah,
file type. That's the extent of my knowledge.
It basically how they answer the questions is how we determine what they do. If it's a single answer with very little detail, then they're probably going to be a lower end technician. But it's more of the quality of the answer that they provide and what details that they provide is generally how we can tell how their area.
Other than like this test that you guys had came up with on your own, you said there's no like certification you can go get. Is there something that people use as an approximation?
Not that I'm aware of. It's the feeling generally that they generally go with. I've known individuals who have said they were level 3. That was their title. They were level 3 engineer who I would put on password resets. And there are level 1 engineers who I would give the most complex issues to. It's just sometimes someone's giving like you're promoted to the highest level, like the level above the level you need to be at or something like that. There's a quote about it. I have to look it up. We ain't got time for that.
We ain't got time for that.
Yeah. But it's just a feeling.
It's just a feeling. I've heard of some folks trying to use like security and network certs from like CompTIA as a weird stand-in, but even then that's not totally level 1, 2, and 3.
Certifications like that aren't indicative of your ability to solve problems. And at an MSP, that is your job, is to solve problems. Sometimes that problem is as simple as resetting a password or putting ink in a printer. But it's the ability to understand that that's the actual problem. That's the root cause of what the user is complaining about. Because even in a password reset, if you reset that password, that affects multiple things. For instance, you have email on your phone that constantly reports back. And if it logs in multiple times, it'll lock you back out because it's using the old password.
Yeah. And
the user calls back in, hey, you just reset my password. I'm locked out again. Can you reset it again? Like that. And it's just this cycle. But that you have to be able to determine this is the root cause and what other things by me doing this action are going to also have an effect or I need to look out for.
having like a higher level understanding of you're not just taking a ticket in and solving it. Well, that is essentially what you're doing from a task standpoint, but that has real world impacts on real businesses and real people.
Yes.
How do you know an MSP is well trained? Now, obviously, I could say they recognize the impacts they're going to have on the businesses and the people that they're doing things for. But is there, I already kind of asked about a test and you said there's 4 questions, but what's evidence of someone being trained in these areas?
It's difficult to train someone because a lot of times experience is the best method to train in reviewing your tickets that you've done and what you did wrong. And even if there's very little, you always want to look at improving, but and doing stuff on your own. Like if you encounter a problem with setting up AD properly, make yourself a home lab, train yourself, figure out what the issue is, troubleshoot on your own. I have a home lab. I've had a home lab since I was able to afford one on a tiny desktop from an obtained copy of Windows Server 2012, maybe 2008 R2.
What's a home lab?
It's basically a setup of either an actual server that's a hand-me-down if someone was going to trash, or a desktop that's running a server OS that allows you to just play and mess around and to do things that you can't necessarily do on a production machine. And it's generally not the company's, it's yours. So that's why I call it a home lab.
That makes sense. Is there anything you're doing personally, insert MSP, to help educate MSP techs?
Yes. We are having a conference that's specifically designed to educate technicians of a managed service provider. It's an area there's no single rule book to allow you to do. So we decided to start teaching things at this conference that we want to provide. And a lot of MSP business owners are struggling to hire in technicians, right? So we took the path of, instead of finding that one unicorn, why don't you make one, right? We're not handing out a certification like a Microsoft MCSE that engineer can go and shop around that you may be worried about, or the business owner may be worried about. We're teaching them the core skills to be able to do their job more effectively and more efficiently and hopefully faster. It's something that hasn't been done before either, which is fantastic and worrisome as someone who is throwing the conference. I want to make sure it lands properly.
It'll be exciting to watch. It's like going to somebody else's wedding. You get to eat all the food, drink all the drink, and then leave.
Yeah.
That'll be me. For you, it's,
yeah.
You got to show up. You're not only the bride and groom, you are the officiant as well.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
I'm honestly looking forward to it. It's going to be a real good time. We have a lot of, we handcrafted, we took what we wanted to teach and we built out a plan of what we wanted to teach and we architected that plan. And then we went to a bunch of different speakers that we felt would be good talking. We wanted to make sure they had expertise in the topic we were talking to them and that they could eloquently deliver what we wanted them to talk about. And so it's all handcrafted. Like this isn't something that says, I want to talk here. No, we went to them and said, hey, we want you to talk about this. Can you let's do some back and forth to see if this works out. And it's going to be fantastic. The lineup is going to be great. I can't
wait. When is MSPGeek Con happening?
May 21st to the 23rd in Orlando.
All right. So everyone should go buy their tickets, or should they just find a way to DM you on LinkedIn with fake profiles to get a link?
You can do that. I will happily provide you the link, but you can go to mspgeekcon.com. All the information's there, the agenda, the overview that you can provide your supervisor if you'd like, for those who are owners, as well as the full gamut. We're talking about it. Who's talking?
Awesome. And I will be there as well, along with, I don't think we've identified how many team members, but a bunch of us Phin people will be there as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. I believe we're having you on next time as well. So next episode, we're going to be talking about automation. So the hint is, in order to make an MSP tech way more valuable, they automate the tasks that are repeatable. That's just a little sneak peek for everybody. But Kyle, thank you so much for being here. Is there any last words you'd like to say to everyone before catching you next time?
No, don't put me on the spot because that meant.
All right, you heard it. His words were no, don't put me on the spot. So everyone, I am Connor. We had Kyle Spooner today on the podcast, and I will see you on the next episode of Gone Fishing. Thanks so much for tuning in to Gone Fishing. If you want to find out more about high-quality security awareness training campaigns, how to launch them in ways that actually engage employees to change their habits, then check us out, Phin Security, at phinsec.io. That's phinsec.io, or click all of the wonderful links in our show notes. Thanks for fishing with me today, and we'll see you next time.